Ioannis Nikolaidis is a very strong Grandmaster who won the Greek Championship and represent Greek national team in many occasions. Today I'd like to share with you his way of thinking in order to improve your game. So without further ado, let's start it. John had the white pieces and started the game with d4. His opponent Pavasovic Dusko with 23-20 played his move knight f6. We have c4, c5, d5, and now one of my favorite lines, b5, the Bengo Gambit. One of the most favorite lines of Nikolaidis is knight f3 because he is keeping open all of the options. We have g6 and pawn takes. If you like to learn actually more about this Bengo Gambit, it is a very interesting system because here black would like just to sacrifice one pawn in order to liberate his pieces and activate everything. I created lessons about that and you're very welcome to follow the description below the video in order to learn more about these lessons. And now let's go back and see what happened during that game. We have a6, pawn b6. This is declined Bengo Gambit because black would like to keep the files in the queen side closed and little later try to transfer the knight on c4. As you can see, try to control that square, not right now but in the future. This is a strategical system. White don't like to win instantly in the first moves. He is not one punch boxer, but he would like to play a strategical game and activate all of his pieces. We have queen takes, knight c3, bishop here developing the pieces, and e4. You can see white is controlling the center very well right now. He is threatening e5 and black replied with that move. Bishop e2, prophylactic move, and his idea is to transfer the knight on c4 via d2. We have short castling and a5. He would like to push his pawn forward, but most importantly to develop this c8 bishop to liberate completely that bishop to activate it. We have a4, fixing this square on b4. Okay, I can understand that b2 pawn is weak forever, a backward pawn, but actually it's very difficult for black to attack that pawn. It's very difficult. We have bishop here and the most players actually is going to take that bishop instantly, right? But this is a mistake and this is not the way that strong players are playing chess. Because if you just capture here, he can recapture with the knight, for example, and now we helped black to improve his pieces. He can put the rook there, he can install the knight on b4 and black's position looks okay. But here white player the Nikolaidis played a very nice move, bishop to b5, highlighting that this b5 square, this one, is under white's control. He's closing the b5 as you can see with the red arrow, and black cannot do anything there. And later he can maneuver the knight again, as we mentioned many times, on d2 and c4. So we have here bishop takes, and most probably almost all of the players is going to capture with the knight, right? It's obvious, but again you should open your mind and think creatively. And now he captured with a pawn. It looks completely illogical, but he has an idea. He can put the knight on a4, this is one idea, and he can put the other knight on c4. And last but not least, he's opened up this file, the a file, so his rook is very active, and later he can start attacking or do some tricks there on a5 square. So black now continued, he has to do something, and he played this move knight e8. It's very typical to Bengo Gambit. His idea is to put here the knight, try to put more pressure, and maybe he would like to capture on c3 and after that the pawn on b4. These are the ideas. However, if he just exchanged the bishop for the knight, his king will be very weak, right? All of these dark squares will be weakened without that g7 bishop. We have a development move, bishop g5, very typical to Bengo. He's highlighting this weakness on e7, and now black played knight c7. He's sacrificing the pawn, and here it's another very important moment actually that we should comment. because white players and these strong players have strategical ideas, but they are supporting their strategical plan with good calculation, and we need to calculate correctly in order to go forward and move our pieces in the enemy territory, because if we just capture a pawn there and we didn't calculate accurately, maybe we're going to lose the bishop. It's a typical scenario. But here, after this move and rook e8, you can see what black is threatening right now. He is threatening the bishop. Behind the bishop is e4 pawn. This pawn is under attack because black has two pieces here, and it's in the air to capture this knight on c3. You can see the game is very, very tactical. And for that reason, I told you you should calculate very accurately. And here white played this amazing move, knight a4. Very, very concrete, because the queen is under attack, and during the game he didn't capture the pawn on b5 because he went there, because if he just captured the pawn, the knight is unprotected, so white can capture on d6, attacking that knight, and he should do something about the knight, and after that white can play e5 successfully. And this is a huge success here if we just manage to put our pieces forward. And this knight protecting that pawn right now, he cannot capture with the queen, we're threatening the knight, he can play e5. So during the game he played queen to b7, hoping to do something with the bishop, because he's attacking the bishop, he's continuing threatening that pawn, and white should do something. He just captured there, knight takes, and bishop takes b5. In order to stay in the game, black sacrificed two pawns, right? It's a huge material advantage, but after knight d7 he managed to finalize his development, and now he has fantastic pressure. This bishop is under pressure, this pawn is hanging actually, the bishop is eyeballing this b2 square, so white has some problems to solve. He played this one, tried to protect everything. We have rook a c8, the bishop is under attack again, we have two pieces, he has only one, so this rook came here, and now we have another very nice move by black with a lot of imagination. He played bishop takes b2. Very strange move from the first, but this knight is overloaded. It cannot really capture the bishop because this knight is forced to protect the bishop on c4. So we have rook c2 here. As you can see, he is attacking the bishop, and now we have bishop c3. He would like to block the lines, and again he is attacking the bishop because we cannot protect that bishop with the rook. So we have bishop back, he dropped the bishop back, bishop b4, exchanges here, and now we have the diagram position. It's your turn now, you can pause the video and try to think. It's white's turn. What are you going to play? And I understand it's a little difficult if I leave you alone to try to find the best moves here. The game is a little complicated, but we're going to examine it. Black pieces are concentrating on the queen side. Okay, we can see that, but some of his pieces are a little hanging. It's not very well coordinated. This knight is not very well there. Maybe the queen and rook is not very good there, and John found a very, very nice move, knight b6. Because he's interfered that knight, blocking that line, he's attacking on b5, and in the same time he's attacking the rook. So we have knight takes, what else to do? He just captured there, and queen takes b5. You can see very nice tactical calculation, and now he's pinned that knight. The queen should protect that one, and we are attacking that knight with queen and bishop. So we have rook c8, and white give up one pawn, but he's controlling all of the squares, he's putting a lot of pressure there and creating a lot of problems. This is a very nice way to finalize your initiative, to put your threats and give your pace during the game. So we have knight e5, the knight is threatening to jump here on c6, because if the knight lands there, it will be attack the rook, the rook has to remove actually, and after that we can capture that knight. You can see you should create problems in every single move. So we have knight a8, and the best way to realize your advantage is to exchange some pieces here, because we have a pawn up, we have the exchanges, But of course this is a general rule, and you should calculate accurately how to proceed, because black have some counterplay with that pawn, right? But just in time he played knight c6. He is putting more pressure there, and white's next move is rook a1. He would like to put the rook there, attacking the pawn, and he would like to capture the pawn. So he played this one, tried to stop this idea. He cannot play rook a1. We have rook to c1 attacking the bishop here, and rook c4. Completely blocking that pawn. The pawn cannot go forward, and he is attacking the pawn with a knight. Knight b6 attacking the rook, rook c2, knight a4. Black tried to do something in order to organize his pieces, but actually this pawn is doomed right now, and white just captured the pawn. So he has completely winning position because he has 2 pawns. We have rook here, knight c4, putting more pressure on the bishop on b2, bishop there, and before start pushing his pawns like crazy, he played a very nice prophylactic move, g3, giving an heir to the king so the king can escape on g2 square. And now we have knight c5, knight d6, not only attacking the rook but overprotecting this pawn here. We have a check, king g2, and black cannot do anything here. He cannot find any real counterplay, and white's plan is to play something like f4, and after that e5, start pushing, rolling his pawns forward, and this knight is under attack as well. Thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Here it's time for action. This is the initial page of my website, and here you can click Give me access to get access to free lessons. You can read this page, and if you scroll down, here you can add your name and your email. After that, you're going to take a free lesson how to avoid chess blunders. So, time for action is now, and you're very welcome to join my mail list.